First of all, I would like to say thank you for the opportunity to be here. I think the previous presentations were very inspiring for me. The organizers offered a very wide range of topics for us, and I choose one which is very close to my heart for several reasons. First of all, the academic life is my vocation. Secondly, I was participant of the launching procedure of the Creative Commons movement in Hungary. Practically, I was one of the lawyers who implemented the Creative Commons licenses under the Hungarian copyright law. And finally, I think that the open access movement is a very appealing movement because I think that the scientific results could be accessed through the easiest way as possible. This easiest way doesn't mean for me that everything could be downloaded without any limitations from the internet. I don't believe that the unlimited access could lead to knowledge, understanding and interpretation. Moreover, I don't believe that an unlimited access to the scientific results would build an efficient knowledge industry anywhere. It cannot be considered a rational goal for us that everything should be available for anyone without any limitations. I think that the contents would be available, accessible for people who can interpret, who can understand, or who want to interpret and understand them. That's the scientific community in our case. The copyright laws, or in general the IP laws, always had an intention to create, to find a balance between the different regulated interests. It can be said on the national level, but we can find this approach in the EU initiatives, and of course we have some texts on international level which refer expressly to the finding balance. The very frequently quoted preamble of the Hungarian Copyright Act shows this approach, and I think that the preamble of the WCT, the WIPO Copyright Treaty, also highlights these desires. The Hungarian Copyright Act was accepted in 1999. However, a lot of amendments has passed since then. And the Berne Convention, which is the fundament of our copyright regimes, was passed in the 19th century, and it was amended last time 40 years ago. However, of course, a lot of special treaties was accepted since then, as it was mentioned earlier. Both are concerned to be intended to enhance the efficiency of the scientific activities, but I'm not sure that they can answer all of the demands of the modern science, and that these answers would be sufficient for us. The Creative Commons can be interpreted in different ways. One way of the interpretation of the licenses is that they are very traditional tools of the civil law because they are general terms of agreements, nothing special. On another interpretational way, we can speak about the Creative Commons licenses as they are revolutionary initiatives for voluntary free sharing of knowledge. By and large, it works. The Creative Commons licenses work without causing any serious problems in the national jurisdictions, and these licenses can be applied in professional fields where the authors don't live on royalties. One of the main goals of the Creative Commons was and is to publish as many scientific results as possible under these licenses. And I can say that publication using Creative Commons licenses doesn't incur any changes in publishing in several times. It makes only a legal framework for the publishing, keeping in mind the right of attribution, which is one of the most important aspects of the scientific publishing. Copyright has always been enforced in a special way in the field of science. Scientific authors in general don't live on their royalties, except for, of course, some scientists writing bestsellers or informational books or textbooks. Although most scientific authors receive some kind of royalties, their activities are mainly financed by their institutions, the universities, the research institutions employing them. In this area, the intermediary, the publishing house, plays an extraordinarily strong role in the ecosphere. And this very strong power largely based upon the fact that it's not them who are financing the creation of the results. In those countries where the legislator pays attention for keeping their educational and scientific expenditures in their budgets on a high level, in these countries the results are on a higher level also. It depends on several aspects. From these expenditures, they can attract experts from abroad. They can grant necessary financial and institutional background for the researchers to do their best. And they can ensure access to the most relevant, the most actual scientific results. That's why I think that the access to the scientific knowledge, the scientific results, is a key element of the competitiveness, and not only the competitiveness of the science, the area of science, but in general the competitiveness of the country. It's not a pure coincidence that the open access movement and the open knowledge was a flagship project of the Dutch presidency in the EU. I promised to speak about the Hungarian situation. The relevance of the Hungarian open access was realized very early in Hungary, and it's shown by the fact that one of the fundamental documents of the open access movement was signed in Hungary. It is the Budapest Initiative from 2002. I have to mention the Hungarian Academy of Sciences, which is a very important, practically the most important player in the Hungarian scientific life, which is the leader of the open access movement in Hungary. In 2012, the president of the Hungarian Academy of Sciences published a decree which provides the obligation for publication all of the documents of the institutions of the academy in a way which is an open access way. This decree prefers the golden and green way of open access. However, it leaves open the possibility for publishing in any other manner. However, the final destination of all publications of these institutions shall be a public repository. I have a short picture about the other side of the Hungarian scientific life, the university life, and it's the less optimistic side of the Hungarian picture, because However, complex reform of the higher education was carried out in 2011. It's not at all about the open access. And it means that the institutions, the universities or the faculties of universities can decide about introducing open access or not. There are some good cases, good examples, of course, in Hungary at the universities. For example, the University of Szeged, which has a very detailed IP policy with a separate chapter for open access publications. But it's not a general picture, unfortunately, today in Hungary. It's very remarkable, I think, that most open access policies can be found in the universities where there is a faculty for the natural sciences. The humanities, the law faculties can't be convinced on the side of using open access publication policies. As a summary, I would like to say only one sentence. I don't believe that the open access would be the ultimate solution for publishing of the scientific results, but it has to be part of the whole picture when we think about the competitiveness and the competitiveness of the EU science. Thank you very much.